The last class, do you remember?
We passed argument as object in constructor.
In the methods, right? Not in constructor, right?
Ma'am, we did only constructor.
Okay, fine. See, that question that we have done in the last class regarding passing the point in the brackets, right? The class in the bracket. So, was
Yes, ma'am.
calculate distance was a method or a constructor?
That was method.
Yes, right. So we are left to pass the same class in form of constructors, right? In the constructor, we haven't done that. That is the copy constructor, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. We shall begin with that. Let me share my screen.
Ma'am, you haven't shown the example of copy constructor, but you have told what is copy constructor.
Yes, example is yet to be seen, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, fine. Let me share my screen with you. Okay. Are you able to see my screen?
It's visible.
Yes. Okay. So, let me open NetBeans. Where is it? Okay, here. Okay, while it opens, anybody has any questions regarding the last class? Anybody having any questions or queries regarding the last class that we have attended? The last class we started with passing, methods. Methods can have primitive data types also in form of arguments. Methods can also have complex data type or reference data type in form of arguments, right? So like if I'm talking about a simple method, what is the header of the method that I'm showing it to you? The header of the method will always have these things. The first will be the return type. Okay, return type of that method. If you don't want to return anything, you can keep word over here. Okay, if you keep your word, it means the function is returning nothing out of it. Okay, that is simple return type. We can even mention it as all the primitive data types or even the complex data type. Like last time we have seen, we can even return the whole class here, right? It is nothing but a reference data type. Right? Yes. Code. Yes. TP1+4TO1 students? Yes. Have a seat. It's from that side also. Some of them are at the end also. What happened? I'm going to mute yourself. Now, is it okay now? Okay, good. Okay, fine. So, still is it echoing? Yes, it is echoing, right? I can hear it. See, it is echoing.
Not
Keep
from
your...
our side, ma'am.
Tushar?
Not from our side, ma'am. It's not echoing.
No. You from your side it is okay. From here, the students are sitting in front of me. There I can hear my voice echoing in their phones. Now that is okay. Okay, good. Okay, fine. So you are able to see my screen, right? You are able to see my screen.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
You also, all four, right? Okay, good. Okay, fine. So you are here. Okay, yes. In methods can have this syntax. You can mention return type over here. Like if you want to return integer arguments, integer value from a function, you can mention your integer. Okay, if you want to return a double value, you can mention your double. Like in the last class, somebody has done that program, right? Returning the distance between 2 points. She returned double, here as a return type. She mentioned double here as a return type. So whatever the function has to return, you need to mention it initially. Then comes the name of the function. And name of the function will take the same, if you remember that identifiers rule, you remember that? We have mentioned this rule means nothing but the name of class, the name of variables, these are nothing but identifiers, right? Then name of functions, right? Name of arrays, whatever you are creating in the program, the name of anything is following the rule of identifier. The same rule is being followed over here also in the name of function, which means you cannot start your function with 1 or a number like this. We need to have some character in the starting of the name of the function, right? It follows the same rule. Next comes the parameter list that you want to mention over here. Now this parameter list is nothing but optional, okay? You can mention here 0 or no parameters. If you want to mention one of the parameters, you need to mention the parameter list in this way, data type, and then the variable name or the parameter name, whatever you want to mention. Now, last time what we have seen, see it is echoing somewhere. Your phone, it is echoing. You keep your phone aside. Okay. Now, in device it is not echoing, right? You can hear me properly. In device you can hear me properly? Okay, good. Okay. Now, yeah. You need to maintain social distancing. So one at this corner, one at that corner. Okay. So return type we can mention here. Now last time what we have seen is you can mention here the data type or you can even mention here the class type. What I mean to say is in the parameter list of the function, you can mention here class type. What I mean by this is I can say that class is actually a data type. But it is not a complex, it is not a simple data type. Class is actually a reference data type. Okay, or it is also known as a complex data type. What I am telling you by this is class itself can act as a data type. All right, class itself is a property to act as a data type because you can return a class, you can return an object of a class from the function. You can even pass this object in the parameter list. So class itself can be referred as data type in Java. Are you getting this point? Somebody is asking you what is class, you can mention that class itself is a data type, which is actually the combination of multiple complex simple data types. Like class could have variables, right? A class can have variables inside it. Class can have constructors inside it, right? So it is nothing but it can have functions inside it, right? So a class is nothing but a combination of primitive data types and these different functions. So we can mention that class is nothing but a complex data type or a reference data type. Are we getting this, what I am telling here? Are you getting
Yes,
this?
ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
You can mention class as a reference data type. You can even mention class as a complex data type. Unlike primitive data types, it doesn't act like primitive, of course, right? You need to create object of that class. In primitive, we create variables. In primitive, we create variables like this. But for a class, we create objects or we create references. You remember the reference variable, you remember the object. You remember the difference between reference variable and object. You remember this. This we have done.
Yes,
Yes, right. Yes. What happened? You are saying something? No. Okay. So we have done this reference and object differences before. Harshvardhan, do you remember that? Mr. Pandey, do you remember that? Difference between references and object. What do you remember? Okay, but if I write a statement like this, if I am writing a statement like this, then what is a reference? नहीं लिखना है मुझे, अलग अलग लाइन में लिखना है। अब बताओ रेफरेंस क्या है, ऑब्जेक्ट क्या है इसमें से, इसलिए मैंने अलग अलग लिखा है आपको दिखाने के लिए। Scan is the reference, right? When you are creating, yes, नीचे news के अंदर when you are mentioning it is an object, right? Okay. You are storing the reference, you are storing the memory address of news scanner object in some variable scan. Scan is holding the memory location of that object, right? Okay, good, yes. So this we have done. So we can say that class are nothing but complex data type in which you can create references for that class. Are we clear with this point? Are we clear with this point?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Anybody is having any question in differentiating what is a reference, what is an object? Another thing, we have discussed class in itself a kind of a reference data type. It is not a primitive data type, it's a complex data type. Any questions in understanding that? Any questions?
No, ma'am.
Anybody facing any queries in these two things we have discussed so far? What about you, Pranjul? Are you there? Limbani, are you there?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Yes, yes, yes. Are you getting what we are doing here? Smriti?
Yes, ma'am, I got that.
Maybe, okay, okay, good, good. Yes, yes. Okay, fine. Now we are moving to copy constructor, right? Okay, let me show it to you. What is a copy constructor, okay? Before I show copy constructor to you, I want to show you simple, you might have done this in C and C++ also. I want to show you a simple function, okay? Simple function. Say for example, I am creating a function. See, now I am creating function inside our class first, okay? This is itself a function, right? PHPM itself is one function, okay? I am creating one more function over here. Say for example, the swapping you might have done, right? You might have done this. If I want to create a function for swapping, I can create it like this, okay? And I'm passing two parameters here. I want to swap A and B. What is the logic of swapping two numbers? Do you know that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, it's very simple. You take a temporary variable, right? You
Yes.
pour the jug A in C, so A gets empty. You can pour B inside A, so B gets empty, and then again you can pour C in your B. Simple logic for swapping, right? Now, my point is, let me print these variables here itself. Yeah, what happened? Somebody is speaking something. I'm not able to hear you. Is anybody having, somebody was speaking something. Okay, this you might have done in C and C++ also, okay. Okay, will it swap the value of X and Y? Can you tell me?
No, ma'am, it won't.
Exactly. Yes, you are right. Very good. Yeah. It will only swap the value of A and B. Right? Am I correct with this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. If you run the file, it will not swap it is still running. When I'm using this kind of method, when I'm copying this values X and Y in some another variable A and B, when you are calling this function swap, what is happening in the backend? Social distancing here. Sit separately. Somebody will come, you will have to answer why you are not following social distancing. Are you getting it? Yeah. Then you come in the first bench. What is the use of first bench? What? You don't have your phones? You don't have your phone? Then you have your device. No, why you didn't bring your device today? You are telling that I will bring madam from tomorrow. Today also I can bring madam. 5 minutes only. Then why not today? From tomorrow we'll bring your device. Huh? They are coming from city. I am okay with that, but you have to bring. Okay. Then you come here in the first line. Okay. Are you able to hear me? But okay, fine. Okay, so what we are doing here is we are creating a function swap. When I'm copying the value of x in A, when I'm copying the value of y in B, the swapping is between A and B. It is not between x and y, right? The actual swapping is not between x and y, it is only swapping A and B. This kind of copying is known as, there are two great concepts in Java. Deep copy and shallow copy. Okay. The application of deep copy, for deep copying only we use copy constructor. Okay. Now can you just with the name only can you understand what is shallow copy?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, is it a hardcore copy? No, it is simply copying the variables at some location, right? It is not copying actually, it is not swapping these two numbers. So this is the application of shallow copy or deep copy. Can you tell me?
Deep copy is used to create new variables, like, and shallow copy will just give a reference.
Yes, you are right. So I am just copying the value of x in A. I am copying the value of y in B. This is nothing but a shallow copy. The actual values are not getting swapped, right?
Yes,
Are you
ma'am.
getting? Yes, this is the example of shallow copy. It means you are not altering the values, you are not modifying the values of the original variables which are in the process. They are not getting modified. But in deep copy, you can definitely modify the original variables, the original object also of the class. Okay. In yesterday also, where we have seen the point class, in the point class also, if you remember, I have done something like this. We have used this calculate distance, right, function. In this function also, when I was passing p over here, I am actually, just give me a minute. Yes. Actually, I am not having that phone. But I have that phone. It is not. It is a USB-C or something. It is not. So I have got it. I am ready for it. Next time. Okay. So what we are doing here, what we are doing in the last class, we actually passed point P over here. What does this mean? You are actually copying the, is it deep copy or shallow copy? Can you tell me? When I'm passing an object like
Shallow
this,
copy.
shallow copy, exactly, it is not a deep copy, right? But now, if you want to apply deep copy, whenever you are calling this function in the backend,
We
what is
need to give
happening?
reference also, memory reference
Exactly,
also.
that is the meaning of deep copy, and that is where the copy constructor comes in place. Are you getting the use of copy constructor now? Are you getting what is the application of copy constructor? It is always used to not, it is not used for shallow copying, it is used for always deep copying. You are
Ma'am, it
actually,
is used for shallow copying now.
what? Yeah, can you tell me again?
Ma'am, it is used for shallow copying.
What?
Copy constructor. Copy
How? Tell
constructor.
me. Okay, tell me how. Hmm. Yes, tell me how.
Wait a second.
Yeah. See, whenever you are using copy constructor, what is happening in the backend? I am not disclosing the way it is done, but I am showing it to you what happens in the backend. Okay. Whenever you are passing the classes object in the class like this, in the constructor like this, what is happening in the backend is you are actually, one of the object is pointing to C1. Okay, one of the object is pointing to C1. Whenever you are using the copy constructor, you can clone this object and you can make the same memory block point with some other object C2. That is the use of copy constructor. But it is not the case with shallow copy. In shallow copy, whenever you are copying the variables, you are creating different memory locations, just like in our example of swapping. Okay, just like this, you are creating different variables in shallow copy. Here, there is the netbeans. Okay. Here, this is shallow copying. You are creating new memory allocations for different variables, but the actual memory allocation is not getting changed. Whenever you are swapping, it is not getting to
Ma'am,
the
it is
actual,
possible,
yeah.
but it is not beneficial.
Means I'm not getting you. Can you repeat that again?
Ma'am, we can do shallow copy, but it is pointless. It will take enough memory.
Third more, another memory will take. Okay, that is what you are telling. Oh, it will take another memory, C2. And then you are making point at C1, right? Like that what you are telling?
It is not optimized, then the thing will be not optimized.
So the use of copy constructor is to application of deep copy is copy constructor. If you want to copy the hard values of the class, you will not use shallow copy, you will use deep copy. This is shallow copy. You are copying the variables in some another variable. Okay. You are copying x and y in some another variable a and b, and you are swapping a and b. It is just copying the values, not copying the actual location. Not copying the actual location, mark my words. Now when I am going to apply this deep copy, I am going to pass the complete class in the constructor. I am also passing the class's location inside that. I am actually passing class reference here. Let me show it to you. If, say for example, we create the same function, okay, we are using the same class point itself. Okay, we are using the same class point itself. Let me remove the additional code, okay. Okay, we are using the same class point, okay. And this class is having two variables, x and y, x comma y, okay. And this is the default constructor, which is initializing both of them to 0 by default. This is a parameterized constructor, okay, which is actually passing both the values inside this. X1 is going to x, like the last class we did, and y1 is going in y, okay. Now, in copy constructor, what you are passing, look at the things that I am passing over here. I am passing the reference here. Whenever I am passing the reference, what p dot x will refer to? Then the object or the reference that you are passing over here. So, whenever I am using this to initialize my class's own variable x, this x refers to the current caller. Remember caller and calling from the last class. Caller is the one who is calling the functions, okay. If I am creating the object, if I am calling a function p1 dot calculate distance, right, then this p1 is actually the caller of it. And the caller is calling these functions. So whenever I am referring it with p1 is actually the caller. P1's x is this x, okay. And whatever you are passing in the bracket as p2, whatever you are passing here is nothing but another object's reference. Now, when I am using here p dot y, I am copying these p dot y to y. I am initializing the variables of the point class's current object that I am creating. What this means, how to create, how to refer this, how to call this block of code, I am showing it to you. Whenever you are creating objects, say for example, you are creating the first object, point p1, with the parameterized constructor passing 10,20 here, okay. It means in this, we know that x is 10 and we know that y is 20, right? Now, whenever I want to get another copy constructor p2, I will call this using this function, this method. What this means, p2 and p1 both are referring to the same block of memory. Whenever I am using this, whatever is p1, p2 is also referring to the same block of code. This was not the case in shallow copy, mind well. In shallow copy, you are not passing the reference, you are passing the variables only. You are not passing the location of it. Here when I am passing the reference location, what I am doing here, I am directly accessing the object that I have passed here. So I am passing the reference, I am passing the memory location of P1 here. So whatever is P1's memory location, according to that, whatever is the value of X and Y, they both are actually cloned in P2. Means P2's X and P2's Y will be same as P1's X and P1. Are you getting this concept? Are you getting this? What is happening here when you pass the reference as the constructor? This is nothing but the copy constructor. It is used for a deep copy. Imagine if it were like this. This is shallow copy. See the live example. This is nothing but shallow copy. Right? I am not passing the actual reference. I am creating new variables, new memory locations. I am copying the value to X, copying the value to Y. Shallow copy. But this is proper deep copy. That is the application of a copy constructor. Are you getting this application? Are you getting it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Clear? Oh, bacha, what about you? What are you? You are in the lecture or you are somewhere else? Huh? You are in the lecture, in between somewhere else you went, diverted. No. Ah. When you swap the screen, I can see somebody leaving. Do you know that? Okay, fine, no problem. Yes. Okay, but are you getting this? See, I don't want to pinpoint. I by super as by Jovan. Okay, but are you getting this? What I'm telling here? The use of copy constructor. Getting it? Online classes, people, are you getting this?
Yes,
You
ma'am.
are attending online, okay. You are actually copying the complete object here. You are passing the complete object, means you are actually copying all the values of P1 in another object P2. This is caller X and Y, callers X and Y. If this is nothing but C, P2's X and Y both will be same as P1 X and Y. That is the reason of the deep copy. One more application of this is, whenever the parameter list, you want to modify the parameter list. Imagine you want to modify the parameter list like this, W and Z, okay? Then you need not, for whatever objects you create, you need not to change P1. See, P1, P to khabar achhe, P ni pasa to bada variables one achhe, X by W, Z. If I modify the variable list in class point, then in the application, I don't need to modify the application because P is already holding X, Y, and Z and W. P is already having all the variables, access to all the variables P is already having. So I need not to inform the system that, okay, these are two new variables, use them in a proper way. No. Whenever a P is using these four variables, P already knows I can access to W, P already knows I can access to Z also. Getting it? Whenever you are modifying the parameter list, the copy constructor also automatically has access to all the variables. See the advantage of copy constructor. Are you getting? The first advantage, the main advantage is, the prime advantage is, it allows the deep copy application in Java. Another advantage is, whenever you modify the parameters in the class, the constructor automatically knows that because it is nothing but a reference of that class only. So it knows what is P.W, it already knows what is P.Z. Getting it? Two applications. Are we clear with these two applications?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Anybody having any questions? You can shoot your questions if you have. Just unmute yourself and speak to me.
No, ma'am.
No questions? Tushar, you are having that question. Are you clear with that now? Rishabh is saying no. Okay, fine. Tushar, are you there? One of the Tushar was having question. Which Tushar had a question? Wait. Tushar left the meeting. Okay,
Yeah.
fine. He is not there actually. Okay, fine. Once he joins, again we'll come back to the topic if he has questions. If you don't have a question, then I'm giving you a small question. Okay, is it okay? Will you do that question? I'm asking you, you have to do it only. I'm not asking you. Okay, wait, let me write the question. The famous question, okay, it is the famous question. Write a program to create a class named as complex. Now, you know there are two types of roots. Roots in mathematics, have you studied roots?
Yes, ma'am.
How many types of roots are there? Can you tell me?
Two types.
Two types of roots are there. Real and
Complex.
which roots you are talking about? Oh, square root. Square root and cube root. Okay, okay. For complex numbers, you know there are two types of roots. For
Imaginary and real.
yes,
Imaginary.
yes, exactly. So if I want to create a class complex, how many variables do we need here? Can you tell me?
3.
Okay, which variables do you want to create? Tell me.
X, I, and Y.
X,
I and Y.
I, and Y. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Now, which of these is, you know that there are real roots and imaginary roots, right? Real could be X and Y. That is what you are telling? Real is X and Y, Manjwani?
Real is X, imaginary is I, Y.
I and Y both are imaginary. Okay, fine, okay, fine. So, using these, it is a simple a simple concept. You don't have to apply that mathematical logic over here. What I want you to do is create constructors like this. Create the constructor with default constructor. Create the one with 3 parameters here, right? Create the one with 3 parameters, right? And create a copy constructor to copy these values in a different constructor. Getting it, what you have to create? 3 constructors you need to create. Your task is simply printing the roots using a print function. But whenever you are printing the roots, create 3 different objects, okay, using 3 different constructors. The first object using default constructor, second object using this parameterized, and third object using the complex class itself here, and print all these 3 roots using 3 objects. You just have to print, you don't have to calculate or anything. Are we clear with this? What you need to do?
Yes,
Are
ma'am.
you getting it? Okay. Yes, we can start working on that. You have the device, right? Then you have to start typing the program. Then in Notepad is I'm okay, even it's okay with Notepad also. I'm good with that and I'm okay with that. You have editors, right? Any editor will work. Even online editor will also work. You search it online.
Ma'am.
Yes, somebody. Yes.
Ma'am, can you please repeat the question?
Oh, yes. What you need to do, simple question. Create a class complex which has 3 variables, right? One is the real, 2 are imaginary roots of that complex class. We are not calculating anything over here. We are simply creating 3 constructors. 1 copy, 1 parameterized, and 1 simple default constructor. And we are simply printing these roots, that's all. So you need to create 3 different objects in your main class, main function, where you are accessing all these constructors. 3 objects with 3 different constructors. Getting it now? Vijay, are you getting this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I'll take the attendance now only. It's taking so much of time otherwise. Ayush, are you there? Ayush? Rohan? Who Rohan? You were not there since the starting. Yeah, by where? And you support him in answers also. Keep your mouth shut.
Ma'am.
No, you were not there in the lectures. I can see in the list. How are you getting this?
Ayush is there.
Somebody speak. Ayush, you are present. Okay. Yes. You are not there since the beginning, huh? Bipin, are you there? Okay, you are Bipin. Okay. Manav?
Yes, ma'am.
Anuj?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes. Riddhi. Yes, both are there.
Present,
Hello,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yeah.
Hello, ma'am. I am there, Manav.
Manav, you are there. Okay, okay. Yes.
Manav.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, Raj. Josh.
Yes, ma'am.
Mansi. Nikita.
Present, ma'am.
Manthan. Smith Kumar. Devansh.
Present, ma'am.
Ala.
Present, ma'am.
Yes, yes. Yashang.
Ma'am, Smith is there.
Yes. Smith is there. Okay, okay, okay. Dipin.
Yes, ma'am.
Tushar.
Present, ma'am.
Yash.
Present.
Manyar.
Present, ma'am.
Parmar.
Present, ma'am.
Udayraj.
Ma'am.
Rishabh.
Present, ma'am.
Ivanshi. Dhanvi.
Present, ma'am.
Bhanushali. Harshvardhan. You are there. Where is social distancing? At least 1 meter distance, you know that, right? Yes. Kisko thoda sa? Yes. Yes. This is 1 meter, Harshvardhan. Vijay Raj.
Present, ma'am.
Dhanya.
Present, ma'am.
Bharti.
Present, ma'am.
Avinash.
Present, ma'am.
Ranjul is there. Limbani, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes. Arjun. Maharana. Tanmay Raj.
Yes, ma'am.
Vignesh Prasad.
Present, ma'am.
Sanjuani is there. Sushil Prasad. Dhruvi. Naitik. Dharmik. Mohammed. Dharmik. Ah, you are there. Yes. Mohammed. Krunal.
Present, ma'am.
He is there. Arpit, are you there? Meghna.
Yes, ma'am.
Yash. Navdeep is there. Divya.
Yes, ma'am.
Saif Ali. Samir Alam.
Present, ma'am.
Isha.
Present, ma'am.
Vibhusha. Om. Aditya.
Present, ma'am.
Riplani.
Present.
Aditya. Another Aditya. Jay Dakkan. Okay. He is there. Vibhusha, yes, yes, you are present only. Wait. Jay Dakkan. Oh, you are Jay Dakkan. Okay.
Present, ma'am.
Priyank. Tushar. Nikita. Girish. Karthik. Enrollment number 62. 3.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, but
Yes. Somebody is speaking something. Okay, you are present. Yes. 59. 60. 63.
yes, ma'am. Hello, ma'am.
Yes, yes.
Hello.
Yeah. You're speaking hello, but you're not speaking anything. Prima, are you there? 65.
madam.
Okay, you are there. 65 is not there. 73.
Yes, ma'am.
Atik, you are there. Yes. Mohammed,
Yes, ma'am.
Darshan Raj,
Yes, ma'am.
Jaideep, Smriti is there. Vaishali, Vasu, Kunal,
Present, ma'am.
Aliwad, are you there? Okay, done with this question? Done with the question? You are still doing it?
I'm done, but print method is not working.
Oh, okay. Can you share your screen? Let me check.
Yes, ma'am.
You need to call on some object, no, beta, either C1.print or C2.print.
Okay.
Let me see what we have done. Yeah, correct. So the value of C2 is in C1, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Now let's see, is it working fine? Those are the values we have given. Let us check. Right?
Yes, ma'am. It's
Yes.
working.
One more thing I want you to do. If you increment C2's X, is that incrementation reflected in C1 also? Will you check it once?
Can you repeat?
Okay. If you mention, see, C2 is actually a new constructor, right?
Yes,
C2
ma'am.
is copied into C1. Am I correct?
Yes.
So both are pointing at the same memory block, right?
Yeah.
If you modify C2's X, is that change reflected in C1X or not? That I want to check. Getting it?
Okay.
Here only, after print only, you try C2.x plus plus, okay? Right, you are modifying C2's X here, right? Without space. Okay, that will work. Okay. You have to print also, no, bacha? You forgot to print, yes.
Acha, हाँ.
C2 also and you print C1 also. C2 में तो change होगा ही ना निधि. So we want to check whether C1 is reflected in the same X or not. Yes. C2 में you print it is okay. But in
No, it
C2,
is not reflecting.
no. You see after changing you have only printed C2, no?
Okay.
C2 में तो change होगा ही होगा. C1 में भी होना चाहिए ना because they both are pointing at the same memory block. Not changing.
No.
Is it cloning it properly? No, right?
No.
But if you print C1's X, it is still printing 137, right? It is not cloning it properly. Now, see, it is just referring to the same memory block. But is it completely clonable? This I want to show it to you. Is it completely clonable? Is the object completely cloning it? No. That is where the concept of clone comes. So copy constructor will not exactly copy the updated value. It obviously copies the previous value that you have made the constructor with. But when you are changing the values, when you are modifying the values of another object, that is not reflected in the copy constructor. Means it is not the exact replica of C2. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
That is where the concept of cloning the object comes. See, even if you are applying the deep copy, it is only copying the object at that state. It is not copying the new state of the variable. It is not completely cloning the object. Cloning will be seen in the clone function. There is a separate function in Java known as clone, which exactly copies the current state also using serializable interface. That will be using, they will be doing it in thread, not now, but I'm just clearing out a picture for you. Whenever you're creating the object using the copy constructor, it is definitely, see, the values are same, but at that state only it is same. But when the thread is modifying the variable, when you are modifying the variable, the updated state is not received in the cloned, in the copied object. So copy constructor and clone both are different. This changes will be reflected when you are using the clone function inside. Are you getting the differences between simple constructor, copy constructor, clone function? Are you getting
Yes,
the
ma'am.
difference between these three different things?
Yes, ma'am.
Shallow copy, simple variables, shallow copy. When you are passing objects, you are doing deep copy. But again, when you are passing objects, the current state is not reflected in the original object, in the next new object. That can be only done using the clone function, which we are going to see in the thread class, not now, but just you must be able to identify the differences between how the copying is working in the backend. Getting it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, anybody having any questions with creating the copy constructor? What is the use of copy constructor? Any questions in copy constructor? Anybody facing any questions in copy constructor? Pala? Any questions in copy constructor? कल किया था नहीं, कल मेथड में पास किया था ऑब्जेक्ट को, आज किया हमने कंस्ट्रक्टर में. हाँ, yes, that is copy constructor. Any questions in that? No? Huh? No. Recursion is a different thing. Oh, don't mix this with recursion. Recursion is a function calling infinitely on its own. That we'll see. It is not recursion, but no. उसके जैसा भी नहीं है. No, it is simply copying the objects. That's all. That is copy constructor. Yes. That is what we did here. That is what we did. In the example that she has shown, that is what we did. No. See, this is the same thing that you are telling now. So that you want to create constructor one. Wait. Then you want to make second. And then in third you want to pass like this. Make this better, no. This is copy constructor. It means you must have a constructor in class circle. Right? There must be a constructor over here that is passing via two circles. Circle C1, circle C2, right? This is copy constructor. It is possible. So, C1 and C2, having a big value set up as a C3. C3 will have all the values C2 and C1. That is copy constructor. Yes, you are right. Okay. Anybody having any questions in copy constructor? Online also. Anybody is having any questions or queries in this? We can solve it right away. No. Okay, fine. So, are we clear with what does the class have? Are we clear with what does the class will have? A class is going to have these things. A class will have variables. A class will have constructors. And a class will have functions. Are we clear with this scenario? Any questions in what does a class encapsulates? Class ની અંદર કઈ properties હોઈ શકે એમાં કઈ question છે? Class માં variables હશે, class માં functions હશે અને class માં constructors भी હશે. આટલામાં કઈ questions છે કોઈને? Online, anybody is having any questions in this?
No, ma'am.
What about you, Janvi, Vijay Raj, Bipin, Rohan, Panjwani, Bharti?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay, good. Okay, fine. So we have seen how to pass objects. Okay, also this one. Whenever you are passing objects in functions, any questions in that? Whenever you are passing objects in calculate distance in the last class, you are passing here object and you are also returning the object of a class. Any questions in this topic? You can return a class, you can also pass here a class. No questions in this so far, right?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, fine. So now we'll begin with recursion in the next class. Pala, we'll begin with recursion in the next class. Okay. If you don't have any questions in this, you can leave the session. Otherwise, you can stay. That is fine. If you have questions, you can stay. Otherwise, you can leave the session. No problem. Girish, I have marked you as present. Girish, you are not there in between. You went somewhere?
Yes, ma'am. Due to connection loss, ma'am. That's why.
Okay. Saif Ali, you are there. Yes, you can leave. No problem.
Ma'am, AI 40. I was there toward the lecture, but since
40?
40.
Okay.
Ma'am, AI 4.
AI?
4.
Yashang. Okay, you are present.
Okay,
Yes,
ma'am.
you can leave. And Anuj, I have marked you as present. You can leave the session. Jen, I am also marking you as present.
Ma'am, can you please repeat what are the things can have a class? Operator variables and constructor variable
Yes,
other
of course. One put a check me.
third one.
Yes, you are asking, no? Okay, yes. A class will always encapsulate variables inside it, constructors, and functions.
Okay.
Right? Constructor is used for initializing or giving values to this variable. And functions are used for manipulating or using this variable in any which way. Samjhano?
Yes, ma'am. And what will be the difference between the functions which are having input argument and which are not having the basic and which are not having the input argument? Basically, how to construct? What is the difference in construction of them?
Function
Defining
है
only. If,
function ની વાત કરે છે ને બેટા
હા.
નેક્સ્ટ ક્લાસમાં સમજાવીશ ફંક્શન્સ પહેલાથી કરશું પછી રિકર્ઝન આવશે સમજાણું
Okay, એટલે
પહેલા
હજી
ફંક્શન પછી રિકર્ઝન આવશે હા
okay.
એને પણ તને કન્સ્ટ્રક્ટર ફાવી ગયા
હા.
ઈ ફાવી ગયા ને બસ તો ફંક્શન્સ ઈઝી છે હું તને નેક્સ્ટ ક્લાસમાં કરાવી દઈશ પહેલા ફંક્શન સમજશું પછી આપણે એના બધું રિકર્ઝન કરશું સમજાણું
Okay.
યસ done it. Attendance is taken. If you want, you have another session right here itself, no? In this class itself. Okay, fine. Debit, wait. I'll mark you as present. Yes, you can leave the session. No problem. If you have questions, you can stay. Otherwise, you can leave.